Alright, so I'm just reacting to this Diablo 4 endgame reaction because I missed the actual live Twitch stream, I believe. And I don't know if it's available online, so I'm just going to use um, Mr. Llama's reaction here and react to his reaction of it, so whatever. We'll see how that goes. Here we go.
What's up YouTube, Mr. Lamacy here, and today we're going to be watching the Diablo 4 Into the Endgame video provided to us by Blizzard. I think they're going to give us a little more depth, and we're just going to kind of react, right? Do that whole thing where we watch and talk and all of these pieces. So let's take a look. Let's dive in, shall we? Oh god, that's loud.
Wait. So he was able to start it up. He's not reacting to it live, so let's what's this one called?
Let's dive in, shall we? Thing where we watch and talk and all of these pieces. So let's take a look. Let's dive in, shall we?
Okay, so let's try and find Blizzard Entertainment. Diablo 4. There's the Diablo. Into the endgame. There it is. There. Cut it down from a 20-minute. Cut it down from a 20-minute video all the way to a 6-minute. Sorry about the unprofessionalness and not just. I could just restart this, but I'm not gonna. Here we go.
We're really excited about getting this game into players' hands, letting them experience this massive world.
A main cornerstone of D4 is play your way. As a player continues to advance through the story and into the endgame, they'll unlock a ton of brand new activities that provide meaningful progression, no matter their playstyle.
Players will be able to keep progressing in the narrative of the game. Alongside that, the whole team has worked on crafting a variety of different experiences players can pursue.
We're going to have an entire world of Sanctuary for our players to offer.
Like
There's going
hair.
to never be an absence of something to do.
After the player has finished the campaign, there's a lot more game to go and participate in. They gain access to a special, what we call capstone dungeon that they have to complete. Once they're able to finish this capstone dungeon, they're going to gain access to the first world tier.
As you complete the world tier, it will open up the opportunity for you to go into your next world tier. That involves unlocking powerful loot, new items, and more advantages for your player to have a better opportunity at end game.
Whether you're a fan of dungeons, PvP, or just roaming around the world, there's
That guy looks so serious. And the other chick, she's all bubbly. It's funny. So yeah, I really like the idea that you have to complete a world tier or whatever, or a difficulty to advance to the next. I missed that from vanilla Diablo 3, and I'm hoping that that's a thing in Diablo 4, where you can't just skip straight to the end like you could in D3, where you could just skip straight to T16 or whatever. But yeah, and then there's been a few things, like some scenes where the rogue was looking pretty cool. I thought rogue was a pretty cool thing, but I got a friend, Fexy, who's going to play rogue, so I'm probably gonna go druid. I'm either gonna go druid or necro. In the beta, druid was pretty bad, but I have high hopes that they'll fix it, or that it's fixed through other reasons later on. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Let's continue.
a way to continue your Diablo adventure long after hitting max level. As your
Growing in
character
power.
continues to grow in power, you'll start with the skill tree and expand out into the Paragon system.
A lot of the choices the players make are
So we didn't get a whole lot of experience with the Paragon system in the Diablo beta. Um, unless you were in the closed beta, which I wasn't, so sad.
Grounded on skills themselves and the fantasies associated with those skills. The Paragon board is a place where we're allowed to have a lot more depth, a lot more customization, many more options as you go.
You can rotate the board, so you can choose a different path if you're like, I want to do more.
So I heard that there was a lot of drama over this because when they're going over the Paragon things, it was like +5 decks, +5 decks, +5 decks. It was not a lot of special stuff, but if you think about it, there's probably a lot of that in between big nodes. It's like PoE. You have a lot of small adjustments, and then you got these big ones, which I'm guessing that these special looking ones, like I see like 7 or 8 right off the bat right there. Those are probably very special ones that have better things.
Strength-based things, right? I want these particular boons or glyphs. You can chart your path through it, and they're really a way for you to keep expanding your character and making it uniquely yours.
Similar to the Paragon boards is the Codex of Power. It's an in-game system that holds the aspects related to the character. You are able to complete a dungeon and
So the aspects in the Codex, I went through all of them, and it didn't feel like there was a whole lot, but hopefully there's more that they just didn't have available at the time. I don't know.
and they will have a chance to drop an aspect that you can pick up.
And what this allows players to do is take items they're finding in the world and make them more powerful, turn them into legendary items.
It's really special to discover what kind of playstyle really means the most to you.
Nightmare Dungeons, okay.
Every part of Sanctuary is fulfilling and satisfying. Dungeons in particular are really close to my heart. Nightmare Dungeons are going to give the players the opportunity to experience a dungeon that they might have already experienced in their past playthroughs. They'll enter the dungeon with a found sigil that alters the playstyle and the intensity of the dungeon.
They're more difficult, and they have additional objectives, and then they also have affixes, which add a degree of difficulty for you and your group to work through.
One of my favorite affixes.
So it kind of is like going into a greater rift. But the affixes thing is more like running into packs that are harder. You know, as you advance the torment levels in Diablo 3, the packs get more affixes. So this is essentially what they're doing with the Nightmare Dungeons, is giving the packs more affixes, more difficulties more things that are difficult to get through. I kind of like that. It's to please the D3 crowd, I think. Because you can't just go straight back to D2. There's got to be stuff that appease the D3 fans as well.
You can find Nightmare Dungeons is actually called Hellgate. Occasionally, these portals will open up throughout the area that will just pour out different monsters that aren't native to that region for you to also be dealing with while you're trying to handle everything else inside the dungeon. There's over 120 dungeons to play through and find in Diablo IV,
But a lot of those dungeons have the same boss with the same kind of mechanics, and that's kind of like what they're getting trashed on, or that's what they're getting complained about a lot. You got 120 dungeons with like 9 bosses total between all 120 dungeons, and at least half of them are go to this side to get a key, go to this side to get a key, bring them to the middle, and then go forward. You know, that's basically the layout of the dungeon that we experienced in beta, at least.
any one of them can become a Nightmare Dungeon by finding a Nightmare Sigil and then using it to activate the Nightmare version of that dungeon space.
Everything's a little darker, everything's more difficult. It's going to add a little bit of a twist of flavor on your particular dungeon.
And give me exploration.
There's some targeted activities in Diablo IV that suit what you're feeling in the mood for.
The Forces of Hell are starting to have more influence in certain parts of Sanctuary in the vast interconnected overworld of the experience. And as the players are going into Helltide areas, you're gonna find even more powerful monsters. And by killing them, they'll be able to gain these special shards they can take to go and use to purchase these big rewards that are available at these caches that are found littered throughout Helltide areas.
The sky darkens and the rivers run red, meteors fall from the sky, and the monsters get harder. We really want to create new experiences for the players. There's one I really like called Whispers of the Dead, which you get from the Tree of Whispers. The Tree of Whispers is grim and a little gruesome, but it's also something mystically haunting.
I like all the heads there and the blood draining. It's great. And the little crow on top is great. So yeah, the Helltide zones, that sounds pretty cool. I don't know. I haven't experienced that because it wasn't in the beta, the open beta. But the closed beta people, they got all of this stuff. They got to experience all of this stuff, and I'm a little bit salty about that. I feel like we should have gotten a better experience with the game rather than just the first 25 levels in one zone. But that's my gripe. Sorry.
Kind of beautiful.
The tree has a little bit of a grudge against our players, and it would like for them to go serve its needs. So you're going to go serve these bounties, gather different rewards, different items, and bring them back to the tree in hopes that it can exchange you.
As an MMO player, I don't mind this. Some people will. I like the bounties. I like bounty quests and stuff like that. I liked it in Diablo Immortal as well, honestly. It was something to do. I like having something to do. Once you get to a point where there's not a lot to do, it's nice to have some things to do, even just busy work. I like busy work. Some people don't.
Something really meaningful.
Maybe you're going to go to the Fractured Peaks and take out some werewolves that are rampaging in a town. They're contained activities that you can do alone or in a group. We really wanted to create variety for people to be able to spend time where they wanted to in the world. It's very cool the way it's been put together, and I can't wait for people to see it, to be honest.
In Diablo 4, we have a focus on the world of Sanctuary. And there are parts of that world that we call the Fields of Hatred, where Lilith's presence in Sanctuary has begun to seep through and manifest these poisonous areas throughout the world.
See, I'm not a huge PvPer when it comes to Diablo type games, and I have a feeling that the top tier people are just going to camp these zones and completely control them, which probably sounds fun to those type of players, but honestly, it's not something I really want to focus on. I might if it's like a really good thing to focus on, but it sounds to me like it might just be cosmetic. In which case, I don't really care too much about it. I'll probably avoid it.
When players go to these regions, they get to engage in player versus player conflict.
These offer opportunities for the player to collect shards. But there is a little bit of a catch. In order to get these shards back to town, you'll need to purify them. Other players will definitely know that you're attempting to purify your shards, so you'd better be prepared to fight if you're going to be playing any PvP, and be prepared that you might lose some stuff in the meantime.
Once they've got the purified shards, they can take these, go back to nearby towns to sell them, and then use that to buy a whole bunch of like interesting cosmetic items and rewards.
It's a place for people who really love PvP and want to still get loot and still increase their character's power. If that's the way they want to play, they
Whoa. Still get loot and still increase their character power. That doesn't sound cosmetic to me. Just saying.
can.
Launch is just the beginning. One of the things we're really focused on is creating a living, breathing set of updates for players to engage with after the game has gone live.
It's really just going to be a way to keep coming back and experiencing more Diablo 4 in fresh ways.
We're really eager to hear all of your experiences and just enjoy the entire story with you all.
Alright, there we go. I liked it. It's a good little thing. 6/6/23, that's BS, by the way. It's 6/1/23 at 4 p.m. Don't forget it. Anyway, we're done.